Well, the biggest stock story of the day is NVIDIA. That company now within basically touching distance of a $1 trillion valuation. If it happens, it would be just the 9th company to ever hit that milestone. The context on NVIDIA is that AI programmers need massive computing power for their applications, and NVIDIA's chips provide that. And for years, the company's been building strong ties to the AI community, both the startups and the data center giants like Microsoft and Amazon. And JP Morgan, coming into this earnings report, had estimated NVIDIA already controlled more than 80% of the market for AI computing hardware. And we've seen a lot of analysts looking at the numbers that NVIDIA shared for its second quarter and wondering how big this business will get. If the gains we're seeing in the stock today hold, this could end up being one of the single biggest days of market value addition for an individual company in history, right up there with a couple of big one-day pops for Apple and Amazon. Now, the NVIDIA excitement ties back to the fast growth of ChatGPT, a product that has felt like an evolution on earlier technologies such as Siri. And for investors, there is always an interest in finding the next big thing. Well, our next guest is a veteran venture capitalist who actually was an early backer of Siri before it was purchased by Apple. Gary Morgenthaler is a partner with Morgenthaler Ventures, and he joins us now. Gary, great to see you. Thanks for your time.
Hey, John, it's great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
You know, when you've got this huge fascination with AI, I guess the AI frenzy is what you hear a lot of people saying right now. As someone who has to make real calculated investments on the future, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, the issue and the reason for the excitement is that there is periodically a new platform on which application developers can build companies and build market value. And we saw this with the internet in 2000. We saw it with social media and with the iPhone in 2007. And this is the first major new platform since then. And there's huge excitement about how do application developers build on top of this? So this is, I would say this is kind of the second wave of AI in commercial form. First one being Siri in 2011. This is the reprise, but it's back and it's bigger.
And as an investor, particularly for those companies who might not be public, but one day public market investors get excited about, what are the kinds of questions that you're asking before you make an investment right now?
Oh, that's a great question. So in any major platform shifts such as this, there are players that understand how to make use of the platform and that can build a sustainable business on top of it. And there are others that are positioning themselves trying to raise money. And so in this case, there are generative AI native companies and there are generative AI companies that are bolt-on. And it's easy for VCs to tell the difference, and VCs are looking very carefully at that.
I'm sure. And, it is interesting to me, Gary, that just a few months ago, the excitement of AI, while perhaps bubbling along, was getting pushed to the side because there were worries about the economy. Startups were starting to feel a cash crunch. We talked about the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, and it really felt like the mood was very different. What do you make of this quick transition? Because I would imagine under the hood, there's still a lot of tough decisions that the startup community is having to make right now.
Yeah, another great question. So venture capital ballooned in 2021 and 2022. The amount of venture capital available, while still huge, it was $202 billion in 2022, but that's down 38% from 2021. It's continuing to fall in the current quarter. What's really happening is that late-stage venture capital is getting much harder to raise, and certainly at lower prices. So the average late-stage valuation first quarter of 2023 is down approximately 40% relative to a year ago. That's a major change, and you really almost have to be cash flow positive to raise capital at that stage. By contrast, earlier stage companies, there's plenty of money, there's a huge ferment of activity. These are very capital efficient companies. One thing to understand is this does not require a whole lot of capital to build a new product based on top of ChatGPT. And there will be hundreds, likely thousands of companies that are built, and scores of billion-dollar companies that come out of this process in the next 5 years. And
do you think most of those companies can make their way to the public market and, zoom ahead the way that NVIDIA has? Or is it those big technology companies that are in many ways competing for their own survival who end up gobbling up those businesses? And maybe not just the technology companies, because if this technology is implemented in just about every industry, I would imagine there's a lot of different players that are sniffing around.
Yeah. In the long term, all markets consolidate. But over the next 5 to 7 years, there will be this profusion of brand new companies, very fast growth, very high value, a lot for investors to like, a lot of new public companies in the mix.
And so outside of AI itself, just before we wrap things up, because we get so consumed with one topic, is there other areas when it comes to how technology is changing our life that maybe are getting less attention right now because of the AI frenzy?
Yeah, gosh, there's so many. On the docket also this decade will be quantum computing, will be robotics, will be synthetic biology. There's electric vehicles, obviously, but autonomous driving and so forth. There will be so much change this decade. I personally think it will be the roaring 2020s. I think that there's a lot to look forward to, even as we move through this economic downturn and likely recession that we're heading into.